Retirement is a huge milestone, but before you hand in your resignation, there is one thing that you really don't want to overlook. And that, of course, is your annual leave and your long service leave. Because how you take it can make a big difference to not only your tax bill, but your superannuation and your Centrelink entitlements. And so in this video, we're going to break it down, go over the key considerations that you should be making before you actually retire. When you retire, your employer has to pay out your unused leave. Now, you've usually got two options. Firstly, you take it as a lump sum when you finish up. Or secondly, you stay on the books and you get paid your leave over time. So even though you're not actually working, it's as if you are continuing to work. Both choices come with different outcomes for tax, super, and government benefits. First of all, let's consider your superannuation guarantee, which of course at the moment is 12%. So if you take your leave as ongoing pay, your employer must keep paying super on your entitlement. However, if you take your leave as a lump sum on termination, well, there's no superannuation added. So that's a big difference. In other words, by taking your leave as ongoing pay, you're effectively getting an extra 12% gross contribution, which after the 15% contributions tax works out to be an extra 10.2%. However, that said, this super boost alone might not be enough to drip feed your leave as ongoing payments. It's just one component of the bigger picture. Now let's talk tax, and this is where things get a little bit more interesting. So ongoing leave payments, they are taxed at your normal marginal rate, just like your normal salary would be. Lump sums, their tax depends on when the leave was accrued. So for most people, that leave is going to be built up after August 1993, and therefore it's just taxed at your marginal rates. However, if you have some older leave balances, so maybe before August 93, there may be some concessional rates, but that's pretty rare these days. So assuming that all of your leave was accrued post 93, the key factor here is timing. Take a big lump sum all in one hit and it's counted in a single financial year. And if that's at the end of the financial year when you've already earned a lot of income, it could push you into a high marginal tax bracket and leave you with a hefty tax bill. You may also run into other issues such as Division 293 tax. But if you take your leave as an ongoing payment, you might be able to spread that income over multiple or 2 financial years. So thanks to our progressive tax system, that often means that you'll pay less tax overall. So just like with the superannuation guarantee, this can be another win for ongoing payments compared to a lump sum. But what about if you want to make a personal deductible contribution to your superannuation to help offset some tax? After all, this can be a great strategy in the lead up to your retirement. Which strategy wins here, the lump sum or the ongoing payment? Well, if you're under the age of 67, then there's no real difference because you can make a personal deductible contribution to superannuation regardless of whether you're still on paid leave or not. However, if you're over the age of 67, well then the work test is going to apply. But the good news here is that being on paid leave still counts as being gainfully employed. So this means that you're likely to meet the work test if you're receiving those ongoing payments. Meeting the work test allows you to make personal concessional, that is deductible, contributions to your superannuation. And also if your total super balance is under 500,000 as at the 30th of June the previous financial year, you can use the carry forward or the catch-up concessional contributions to make extra tax deductible contributions in a single financial year. So in short, again, this seems like a win for ongoing payments versus the lump sum, especially if you're over the age of 67 and maximizing contribution strategies ahead of retirement. Now let's look at Centrelink, and this is where a lump sum payment can sometimes come out ahead. Lump sum leave payments are generally not counted as income for the age pension. Instead, the money just shows up under the asset test once it's in your bank account or invested wherever you decide to put it. This can be different for other types of payments such as job seeker, which is subject to the income maintenance period. But for today, we are considering the age pension. Ongoing leave payments, on the other hand, well, they're treated as employment income. And so that means that they get assessed under the income test. Now, even with the work bonus, a modest salary can be enough to completely wipe out your age pension eligibility. So in simple terms, if you're still on a decent pay, staying on the books with your employer payments will almost certainly reduce or eliminate your age pension. On the contrary, taking your leave as a lump sum, well, that avoids the income test hit, although you'll still face the assets test once the tax has been taken out. Now, of course, the right choice depends on your age, income, assets, Centrelink eligibility. The smart move here is to just run the numbers under both scenarios. If the age pension is higher when taking a lump sum, well, then you need to weigh that benefit up against the other benefits that we've talked about of the ongoing payments. Things like extra super, under the guarantee contributions, ability to spread your tax over multiple financial years. And if you're not eligible for the age pension either way, well, this whole consideration is irrelevant. You can just focus on the tax and super outcomes instead. So should you take your leave as a lump sum or an ongoing payment? Well, the answer is, of course, it depends on your situation. If the age pension isn't relevant to you, most of the advantages lean towards taking leave as an ongoing pay. But if eligible for the age pension, a lump sum payout could outweigh those benefits. At the end of the day, you need to consider what is right for your personal situation. The right choice depends on a mixture of factors, and so you need to really crunch those numbers or get a financial advisor to help do this for you. But if you found this video helpful, please leave it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one.